on this Tuesday afternoon, the 24th of September. Good afternoon. It is a sunny 67 degrees in Richland Center at 12:08. For WRCO News, I'm Joanne Krulotz. COVID-19 is on the rise in Wisconsin. It's been spreading more and more since the end of June, according to the state's wastewater data. Soon you'll be able to order more tests for free. The federal government is reviving its free test by mail program. You'll be able to go to covidtest.gov and order 4 nasal swab test kits. The program is set to go live late this month, but officials haven't announced a date yet. The Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection issued a public health alert for wild rice and cheddar brats and wild rice and cranberry brats produced by Maloney's in Durand. DATCAP says the alert is due to the product being misbranded and containing an undeclared allergen. The products contain wheat, a known food allergen, which wasn't declared on the product's label. The products were sold at Maloney's Bologna retail store on or before September 17th. DATCAP says no illnesses have been reported as a result of consuming the brats. Health officials are warning residents about an increased risk of rabies exposure as temperatures begin to cool down. As temps drop, animals like bats and skunks are more likely to start seeking shelter indoors. Residents should check their homes to make sure potentially infected animals can't find their way inside. If an animal does get inside of your home, you should try to capture the animal and contact your local health department for testing. School business official John Bosworth presented information about school finance to the Richland School District Board of Education at last night's meeting. The information has been broken down into 4 presentations. At last night's meeting, he shared about how equalized value and levy rate and property tax versus state aid. The board will set the tax levy for the Richland School District at the October 28th meeting. Throughout the presentations leading up to that meeting, the board will have the opportunity to gain valuable knowledge in general school finance information. Southwest Cap Head Start programs had been operating on Richland School District property. Southwest Cap continues to operate at the former Jefferson School building. The district and Southwest Cap have entered into a vendor agreement to provide meals to Southwest Cap through the food service program. The agreement is to provide meals and snacks to the Southwest Cap Head Start program at the former Jefferson School. Southwest Cap will be charged the same meal rate as students and staff. Scott Baling, Aaron Unbehan, Neil Huntemer, Robin Dickman, Sheila Troxel, and Lee Van Landite voted to approve the agreement. Brady Doudna voted against. The 2024-25 school year will be used as a trial period to determine the total cost to serve meals now that the location is no longer owned by the Richland School District. The board also approved the 2024-25 contracted service agreement between the Richland Hospital Incorporated and the Richland School District for occupational therapy assistant services, physical therapy services, and athletic trainer services. Proposed prices from the Richland Hospital are slightly higher than last year. In-school licensed athletic trainer services for 5 days per week at 2.5 hours per day for a total cost of $6,781. Event coverage billed in a quarter-hour increments at $36, non-notification of canceled events at $36, and event coverage billing will not start until school coverage is complete. The total estimated cost of the trainer for 2024-25 is approximately $12,000. Actual cost will be based on services provided. The motion passed unanimously. Also approved unanimously was a motion to approve 4 open enrollment in applications and to approve 4 open enrollment out applications for the 2024-25 school year. The Richland School Board of Directors also accepted a number of gifts to the district. The University of Madison's latest enrollment numbers break records. The university enrolled 8,516 freshmen for the fall, its second largest freshman class ever. UW-Madison also saw a record number of freshman applicants with 65,933, up 3.8% from last year. The university says a Supreme Court decision prohibiting schools from using race in the admissions process impacted the racial and ethnic makeup of the upcoming freshman class to the tune of 3.7% drop in an underrepresented students of color. UW-Madison also saw a record for total enrollment of 52,126, up almost 3% from 50,633 last year. Studies show more than half of college students across America have used artificial intelligence, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Savannah Tomei Olson reports.
At first, it seemed like people were really worried about students plagiarizing and using the work of platforms like ChatGPT. But employers are asking colleges to get students familiar with the technology. They say they need it in the workforce. Students enrolled at Wisconsin's technical colleges this fall may take a course where AI is the star of the classroom. Officials say it could help produce a more robust pipeline of workers in the Badger State. Layla Merrifield, president of the Wisconsin Technical Colleges System.
Here in Wisconsin, we really have a structural workforce shortage, and our demographics are telling us that will continue. And what we're seeing, it's really upskilling the workforce.
Merrifield says manufacturers are making it clear they want a workforce that knows how to use AI.
Former President Donald Trump will be back in Wisconsin this weekend. Trump is planning a stop in Prairie du Chien Saturday. A press release from the campaign says he'll be speaking about immigration. The visit comes after a person alleged to be part of a South American gang was accused of assaulting a teenage girl in Prairie du Chien. The visit continues a blitz that both the Trump and Harris campaigns are making of battleground states like Wisconsin. Former Governor Tommy Thompson says he wants former President Donald Trump to campaign in the state's two bluest counties. He says Wisconsin is not a done deal for Kamala Harris and says Trump's team should come to Dane and Milwaukee counties, which he called, quote, the belly of the beast. In 2020, Joe Biden won 75% of the vote in Dane County and 69% of the vote in Milwaukee County. The Washington Post highlighted Senator Tammy Baldwin's Go Everywhere campaign strategy. The column features Tammy's recent stops with voters from Richland and Lafayette counties, two counties that voted for President Trump in 2016 and 2020, but flipped for Baldwin in 2018. When Senator Baldwin kicked her re-election campaign into high gear last November with a one-year-to-win tour, the first place she stopped was Richland Center, where she cut the ribbon to open a new local Democratic headquarters. The article goes on to say that Democrats cannot afford to ignore rural America. After supporting Barack Obama in both his presidential campaigns, Richland County voted for Donald Trump by 5.5 percentage points in 2016 and expanded his margin to 9.7 points in 2020. But in 2018, Baldwin won in Richland County even bigger by 14.6 points. Richland was one of 17 such Trump to Baldwin counties in the state, which suggests there are still some parts of the country where ticket splitting has not gone entirely extinct. The Wisconsin Supreme Court will decide Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s fate on the November ballot. Friday, justices allowed Kennedy and his legal team to file written arguments by Saturday at noon. The independent presidential candidate has been trying to get his name off ballots in key battleground states since he suspended his campaign in August and endorsed former President Donald Trump. The Wisconsin Elections Commission wants the matter resolved quickly since absentee ballots are already being sent out with Kennedy's name on them. A Dane County judge ruled against Kennedy last week, citing state law that says candidates must remain on the ballot unless they die. Political parties are putting a lot of effort into the youth vote here in Wisconsin. Some analysts say young people alone could decide the election.
Ever since Kamala Harris was named the nominee, there's been about a 20% jump in enthusiasm from Wisconsin voters age 18 to 29. That means social media may play a bigger role than ever. Hilario De Leon is chair of the Milwaukee County Republican Party.
Everyone's on it. We get our news from it. I have a TikTok account. I have my own social media platforms that I do. Any major, corporation, company, sports team, political group, they all have social media.
Matthew Lehner is chair of the College Democrats of Wisconsin.
Social media is one of the big reasons why Janet Protasiewicz did so well in the 2023 Supreme Court election. I think you're going to see that again in 2024.
14% of young Wisconsin voters are still undecided. That's more than double any other age group.
New numbers show the job market has rebounded in Wisconsin since the pandemic, but it's not equal across the state. The nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum found while overall Wisconsin has more jobs now than it did in 2019, that doesn't mean every county is advancing in that category. 42 of Wisconsin's 72 counties have fewer jobs than they did before the pandemic. That means the state's strongest economic areas, like Dane and Milwaukee counties, are carrying a lot of those jobs. Forbes has named the best employers in Wisconsin. They surveyed 160,000 staffers across this country, and the best employer in Wisconsin is Costco. But number 2 is Quick Trip, which is headquartered in La Crosse. Rounding out the top 5 were Procter & Gamble, Acuity Insurance based in Sheboygan, and Bank of America. Forbes says the 6th best employer in the state is UW-Madison. After 47 years, a Southwest Wisconsin business will be closing its doors. The Wisconsin Iowa Shopping News and Prairie du Chien will cease its print and digital publications and permanently close its operations. The final edition will be October 1st. It was deemed no longer financially viable to continue to operate in a market being served by other media organizations. The closing of the Prairie du Chien location does not affect the Richland Center, Platteville, or Dyersville, Iowa locations of the Shopping News. All 3 remain open to serve their respective communities. The Richland Center Shopping News has been part of the local community for 92 years. The Richland Center Shopping News and Express Printing will host an open house and Grace fundraiser on Friday, October 4th. Guests will be able to tour the facility and meet staff from 11 to 2. Walking tacos will be available with proceeds benefiting Grace. The public is welcome to attend. The Wisconsin Supreme Court the soldier from Racine who crossed the border from South to North Korea last summer was sentenced. Private Travis King was sentenced Friday in a Texas military court to a prison term that amounts to the time he has already served. That came after King pled guilty Friday to desertion and 4 other counts, including assaulting an officer. 9 other charges were dismissed. King faced disciplinary action in South Korea before crossing into the North, where he was detained for about 2 months. King was also dishonorably discharged from the service. It's Rail Safety Week, a time to think about the dangers of crossing railroad tracks, either on foot, by bike, or in a car, and how to do it the safest way. Officials say you should look both ways. Turn down your music in a car and avoid wearing earbuds when walking or biking. Never cross the railroad track while lights are flashing. Never speed up and rush through a gate or go around it. That's when accidents happen. According to the Commissioner of Railroads, in the last 5 years, there have been 170 incidents resulting in 45 deaths while crossing tracks in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Supreme Court and the Director of State Court's office announced the library will be named in honor of Lavinia Goodell, Wisconsin's first woman lawyer. On June 17, 1874, Goodell became the first woman to practice law in Wisconsin, overcoming significant barriers and advocating for legislative changes that open doors for future women to follow in her footsteps. Justice Ann Walsh Bradley says naming the state law library in Goodell's honor is an opportunity to recognize her legacy and inspire the next generation of women in Wisconsin. Divers have found a treasure in Lake Michigan, a steam tug that sank almost 130 years ago. 2 historians from the Wisconsin Underwater Archaeology Association set out to search Lake Michigan for it. They're far from the first. After reviewing some historical records, they started near Algoma and found the John Evenson, which sank in 1895. In 2023, 13 shipwrecks were found in Wisconsin waters. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources urges all individuals interested in participating in fall hunting to enroll in a hunter education class now. Fall is a busy time for hunter education classes, which are run and scheduled by volunteer instructors. As the fall season progresses, volunteer time may decrease as they spend time hunting themselves. Anyone born on or after January 1st, 1973 is required to have their hunter education certification in order to purchase a hunting license in Wisconsin. There are 3 hunter education course types, so hunters can choose the best format for how and where they'd like to learn. Individuals under 18 are required to take a course with a hands-on training component. The traditional course is the most commonly offered. Students meet multiple times during 1 to 3 weeks. All learning is in the classroom through lectures and hands-on lessons. This course is advised for students new to firearm handling. The Internet plus Field Day course is becoming more common and combines online bookwork with hands-on learning. Students complete the online lessons at their own pace and on their own timeline, and then enroll in the 6 to 8 hour field day for hands-on firearm handling and final exams. This course is recommended for students who already have some firearm handling experience. The online-only course option is only available to students aged 18 and older. All learning is done online at the student's pace and on their own time. This course is recommended for students with strong background in firearm handling. If you are unable to enroll in a hunter education course this fall, but would still like to hunt, you may do so under the mentored hunting law. Mentees may purchase a mentored hunting license, which enables them to hunt with a licensed mentor. Hunter education classes fill fast this time of year. Stay safe this season, and for more information on these course types and to enroll, visit the DNR's Safety Education webpage. Nominations are being accepted for the 41st Annual Virginia Hart Special Recognition Award, sponsored by the Wisconsin Women in Government. The award recognizes the contribution and achievements of women in the Wisconsin state government. Virginia Hart was Wisconsin's first woman to hold the cabinet secretary position, serving as secretary of the Department of Regulation and Licensing, a chairperson of the Department of Industry, Labor and Human Relations, and chairperson of the Labor and Industry Review Commission. Following her retirement, Ms. Hart's friends and colleagues established a fund in 1983 to annually recognize a woman's contributions to state government. The Virginia Hart Award recognizes women in state service who share the following qualities: esteem from peers, acceptance of responsibility beyond the limits of the nominee's job description, sustained and extraordinary achievement of assigned task, performance recognition from clients, community service, self-improvement, and overcoming hardships to performance. All women employed in state government are eligible, and anyone can make a nomination. Nominations must be submitted by September 27th to Hart Recognition Committee, attention Laurice Lincoln, by email at laurice.lincoln@wisconsin.gov. The winner will receive a reward stipend from the Virginia Hart Fund of the Wisconsin Women in Government Council and will be honored during the awards ceremony at the state capitol on December 6th. The annual Milk and Cheese Hayride will be held Saturday at 1. The ride will show the emerging fall colors on some of Richland County's scenic rural roads. The Milk and Cheese Hayride is hosted by Ed and Linda Chitwood. The Chitwoods rely on the generosity and support of their friends and neighbors to make Milk and Cheese possible. The hayride is free, but free will donations are appreciated and will be used to support the Milk and Cheese program that provides local cheese to local food pantries. Those wishing to participate should arrive in time to be seated on a wagon in time to leave at 1. The Milk and Cheese Hayride will start near the Chitwoods' home, take Birds Creek Valley Drive off Highway 60, and then follow the signs to the staging area. Reservations are not necessary, but are appreciated. Reservations can be made by calling 608-537-2340. Be sure to leave a message if you do not get an answer, letting the Chitwoods know how many will be in your party. The number for Saturday's hayride again is 537-2340. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation invites you to review and share feedback on the agency's 2024 Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan. The ADA Transition Plan shares information on Wisconsin DOT's efforts to continually improve accessibility throughout the state highway system, including roadside facilities, navigability within public rights of way, and public input processes. Per federal law, the transition plan is regularly maintained with opportunities for public input. The plan is available on Wisconsin DOT's website at wisconsindot.gov/ADA. The 30-day public comment period goes through Saturday, September 28th. The public is encouraged to review the plan and share comments via the online form.